Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 BMW M3 Competition. Huge shout out to not only Hendrick BMW Charlotte, I'll have a link to their website down in the description, but also to the owner of this M3 for letting me take a look at this beautiful spec. So this M3 is finished off in Isle of Man green metallic. MSRP is just over $98,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6-cylinder. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. This model is the xDrive version, so that power sent through that system. It weighs in around 3,400 pounds. 0 to 60 is 3.4 seconds with a top speed of 180 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3, a height of 56.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.8 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, the Isle of Man green metallic will not come across on camera. So if you've seen one in person, this is a beautiful color for this model. And up front, you'll notice that we have the kidney design for the grille with plenty of cutouts to provide cooling up front. There's also sensors. There's the sensor for the distance pacing there. There's a small M3 Competition badge over on that driver's side. And then this also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with a dark housing to them. There's also some gloss black accents in the lower trim section there, and then some more cutouts on both sides of that grille. And then there's also some nice lines that go off of the top of the kidney design into the hood itself, just to blend it in very nicely. And I love all of the sharp edges up front. It just gives it a very distinctive look. Now, as we work our way to the side, this does have a staggered setup for these wheels, which have that multi-spoke design to them. There's also the M Sport brakes with 6 pistons up front and 4 pistons in the rear. You'll notice too, there's a lot more gloss black for the side. It's on the power folding side mirrors, which have the camera and the turn signal. And all of the M4 Competitions come with the carbon fiber roof. You can also opt for a sunroof. It's a no-cost option, but I would prefer to go with the carbon fiber roof. There's more gloss black for the lower side skirt, and then we have really nice lines that run down the side, including the one in the lower section that starts with the M3 Competition badge just behind that front tire. There's more gloss black surrounding the window trim as well, just giving it a great side look. There's also more gloss black for the small trunk mounted spoiler. Backup camera is just underneath that BMW badge. There's a set of LED taillights, as well as all the parking sensors, which are just above that. And then there's the quad tip dual exhaust and some fins in that rear diffuser. Now this also has remote start, so just triple tap on the lock button and we can bring this to life. You can also triple tap on that button to shut it off, and you can use the key fob to open up the power trunk or use that electronic button up underneath. Now with this family style sedan, you still have a lot of practicality for this. Now there's no storage underneath the floor, but you can pull on these tabs here to fold down the back seat. So that gives yourself a lot more interior storage. There's also some bins to the right side and over on this left side here where you can place some items as needed. So for the performance that you get with this sedan, you also get the practicality as well. So you can daily drive this and have all of that fun. Now, as you just heard the vehicle locked, all I have to do is grab on the door handle. So you can do that from all 4 doors. And this particular model is spec'd with the Calamami green. Calamami. And this model is spec'd with the Kyalami orange interior, which is a really nice combo. Now for the rest of the door panel, there's the Harman Kardon audio, interior lighting with that brushed aluminum accent. It's also on the release handle. There's also a little bit of storage in the lower section. And then for these seats, we do have a little bit of suede in the headrest there, as well as the two-tone design. And at 5'10", hopping into the back, I have a good bit of space. There's also climate vents in the middle. We have your climate adjustments as well as some auxiliaries down below. And I have about 1 inch or so above my head. Honestly, it's not bad. I could have 2 other people back here and fit fine. So for its sizing, it's not all that bad. Now you can also fold down this middle seat if you like to. There's no cup holders, but you could use that as an armrest if needed. And then you have a good bit of visibility out of the back here. So again, for the performance, you still have a practical back seat space. Now up front, for the door panel, we have the memory seating adjustments, side mirror controls, window adjustments, trunk release, and even more storage. There's also leather that runs across the top there. And then there's the M3 logo in the headrest. Very nice sport bucket seat. They are power operating with the one manual adjustment for that leg support if you need to move that. Now this is a low sedan, so it's very easy to enter and exit. And we are greeted with the solid leather steering wheel with all the carbon fiber accents. There's your cruise, distance pacing on this left side. Right side, you get audio adjustments as well as a control to go through the gauge cluster there. Now there's also M1 and M2, so you can use these as presets to set the vehicle up to your liking. And then we have massive carbon fiber paddle shifters. But let's fire this back up and take a listen to how the M3 Comp sounds. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, over on the left side, you'll see fuel and miles per hour. On the right side, there's the tach and the engine temperature. Now, if you push on this button right here, this is how you can pull up content that you can scroll through. So it's currently showing your PSI and temperature for the tires. You can look at a live readout for your horsepower and torque, even pull up a G-force meter as well. You can go into your media, and then if I scroll all the way to the top, now we can go to a reduced view. There's also a lap timer to pull up. You have some trip data, your assisted view for the distance pacing that you can monitor. And then there's also the route preview, so you're shown that with the compass. There's also the navigation. And then when you look into setup, this is how the vehicle is currently set up. So if I push on M2 now and activate that, it will completely change those drive modes. So again, those are customizable, which is very nice. So you have all that content that you can scroll through, and then you can even get into the head-up display. So when I go to the head-up display, currently we are looking at the standard view, which is miles per hour and the speed limit sign. Directional is going to add the compass, and then we have reduced, which is the same as standard. So you have those three different settings depending on what you would like to see. Over on the left side, there's a little bit of storage. You can place your keys, sunglasses, something small like that. We have all the headlight adjustments with one air vent. There's also leather that covers the entire dash. And then looking at the infotainment system now, you have quite a lot to go through. So if you push on the 4 squares up top, this is how you can get into all of these icons, like your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can get into your seat comfort, even look at your lighting. You have a lot that you can go through. Now it is a touchscreen system, or you can use the controls down below. So we have all of those shortcuts along with this rotary dial. You can even get into your M drift analyzer. So even though this is the xDrive version, you can go into this, set it up, and have an area to view all of those stats. Now there's also shortcuts to your music, so you can get into that along with your phone. And then there's also the navigation, so you can pull that up in full screen. Now there's also the fixed bar in the lower section. So you have shortcuts to your temperatures as well as your climate. So you can get into your heated and ventilated seats, get into your fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, various settings for that. And this also has a lot more widgets on the home screen that you can scroll through and change as needed. So you have quite a lot, very easy to go through this entire system. Now there's carbon fiber underneath that with more brushed aluminum accents, 2 air vents in the middle. You have some more audio adjustments along with your AC controls just underneath that. And then underneath this lid, there's wireless charging, auxiliaries, and cup holders. And this is finished off in carbon fiber to give it a fantastic look along with all the brushed aluminum. Now in order to put this into reverse, we'll simply push that to the left and up, where this has that 360 camera system. There's also automatic parking as well as the backup assistance. And you have that 3D view, so you can see around the entire vehicle just by using these shortcuts here. And there's also another top-down view, so you can use that as needed. Now, if you want to take a look at the forward-facing camera, simply just put it into drive there and then push on that shortcut to pull that up in full screen. There's going to be park on the backside, and then we do have the ability to adjust the transmission. So you can have it shifting very quickly or very slowly depending on your driving. Now there's traction control, parking sensors, the engine start-stop, as well as the M mode. So if you push on M mode, you can actually go into sport or track, and it's going to change not only the gauge cluster, but it will change the head-up display as well. So there's the massive tach along with your miles per hour, and then what gear you're in is front and center, and how the vehicle is currently set up. Now, track mode is only going to shut off this system here. So sport and track are the same. It just makes that blank, so that way you have one less distraction. Now behind that, there's setup, and this is how you can get into M1 and M2. So as you can tell, these are the current configurations, and you can go in and adjust your steering, your braking. You also have your exhaust note that you can get into, traction control. There's a lot that you can do to basically have your daily driving mode and then your mountain or track driving mode with the push of a button there. There's also the exhaust note, auto hold, and the e-brake. A little bit of storage with some auxiliaries in the armrest, as well as plenty of room in the glove box there. There's more of the lighting underneath that. There's the rear view mirror with your garage door buttons, and dome lights are up top. And then here's a look at visibility. The glass is very large. Pillars are very thin, so you have plenty of visibility over both shoulders. As we set off now behind the wheel for the BMW M3, this is by far one of my favorite sedans that I get to drive and check out. It just has a fun factor to it, and while I'm not doing any performance style driving in this vehicle today, I've been in the M4, which is relatively similar. I have a lot more seat time in that vehicle as far as doing some mountain driving and performance driving, things like that. This is going to be nearly identical to that car because the weight difference isn't that much more, even though this is a full 4-door version. But this car is so much fun. I love the spec that this owner has for this model, and it's just something that you can daily drive in normal traffic like I'm in right now, or you can pop it into some of these driving modes that I've already shown, including adjusting the transmission. So with it in its quickest shifts, which is all the way up to level 3, basically, these shifts are instant the moment that you hit these paddles. So with a small acceleration like that, you are just going through those gears. Now you can also tone it back. So if you are in stop and go traffic and you don't want it to shift, I don't want to say as harsh because it's very smooth and instant, but if you want it to be a little bit more laid back in your stop and go traffic, you can have the adjustments to do that. Or if you want to do that with the paddle shifters as well. So we'll give it a small acceleration in the slowest setting. There's a little delay there as I go through the gears. So you have multiple different personalities with this sedan, and it's also practical if you have kids, if you have more people with you, and you want a performance sedan that's also practical. This is honestly, I think, the best option to go with. Now, we have reviewed this against some of the other competitors, so check out those videos as well if you want to see. But in my experience with driving all of these, this is my personal favorite. I also like the fact, too, that you can opt for the manual transmission. It's not going to be all-wheel drive. If you go with the manual, it'll just be rear-wheel drive, but it just depends on what your preference is. Both are going to be incredibly fun, just depending on what you would like. But as far as being behind the wheel, it's very comfortable, quiet, it's smooth, it's well refined as it should be for a BMW. So we'll put it into a sport mode now, so it changes the gauge cluster settings here. We have it in M2, and we'll give it a small acceleration here from second gear. And it sounds really good as well. You can feel those shifts slightly, especially short shifting like I am today, but it gives you that drama. This car has so many different personalities. We can tone it back now, just go into road, put it into all the efficiency settings, where your throttle response will get a little bit more delayed. So again, just depending on how you would like to drive. I love how you can quickly go through all of these different settings. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the M3. These seats are also very nice. Now you can also opt for the carbon fiber bucket seats, which I think is one of the most comfortable factory seats you can get. These are super comfortable. These are a lot more daily driver friendly, even though these sport bucket seats, they're a little bit harder to get in and out of, but they're equally as comfortable. We had those in the M4 that we had for a week, and it was a really nice seat. It's like a $4,000 option. I don't know what it's like for the M3. I'm assuming it's similar, but you even have options like that for this style vehicle. So if you are going to do a lot more tracking or something like that, you can even get those seats for up front there's just so many different options that you can go with to dial in this vehicle to your liking. It would make for a very, very fun daily driver, and I hope the owner enjoys it as much as I do, even with the short test drive that I have today. It's definitely a very fun vehicle. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 BMW M3 Competition. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte, as well as the owner, for letting me take a look at this performance style sedan. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.